Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about the leash technology for walking your cat. So there are several different types of leashes you can have. You can have a fixed leash, which is essentially just usually a nylon web, has a handle at one end. This one here happens to be made out of some climbing, thin climbing rope that I have. And I can put this handle around here and lock it on my wrist here. Then at the other end I have a little clasp which I affix to the harness. So here is an attachment point, so you just take your clasp and attach it to it, and then there you are. You have yourself a harness at the end of a leash. You'll see me out walking on the retractable leashes. So this here is just one I got at one of the pet stores. It's got my little clasp at the end, and I just attach it to the harness. And then this has got 25 feet of retractable leash, and then I can stop or stop the payout at any time, and then lock it at that point. So here the cat can't go any further, or let it retract. Now if I want to lock it and pull the cat in slightly closer to me, I just push down on the button and then pull in, and then grab a little bit more string. One thing you see at the end of this thing is I have a lanyard tied onto this, and what this is essentially something I put around my waist like this, and then clip to that. So in case of an accident, if I happen to drop this handle, the cat won't feel that it's being chased by this retractable leash and will not run away. So this is in the case that I can drop this and still have it attached to my body. I've actually had that happen before, and my cat went running, and he eventually just went running back home, but he was very scared and certainly didn't want to go out for any walks for a long period of time after that. I've made up from some thin climbing twine a walking harness that essentially is kind of like a retractable walking harness, but instead it has loops. I have my little clasp here that attaches to the end of I have my clasp here that attaches to the cat on his harness, and then I have these every 3 or 4 feet a little handle for my hands. So I just situate it such like this, so if I want to pay out some leash, I just release one of these handles, and these are just tied a long piece of string. Essentially this is camping twine to affix tents with or whatever, and I have my last piece here that I have, and then as I want to let the cat have more freedom, I just let go one of the handles and he goes off wandering around, and when I want to draw him back in, I just grab a handle and pull it back. So those are the leashes. On a lot of my videos you see me walking around with a badminton racket, and a lot of people wonder, well, what is that for? One thing I do is use this badminton racket to basically guide the cat to where I want him, in the direction I want him to go. So, and also if I need him to turn around, I'll kind of gently turn him around, and you can basically do this by putting this on one side of his head and just gently pushing on it, and he'll naturally kind of go in that direction. The other thing is if he's stopped and we've been resting for a few minutes, a lot of times I want to start the walk again, so I'll just give him a little nudge on the rump, and then that'll be his cue to get up and walk. Now the other thing the other advantage that using a badminton racket like this to facilitate your cat walks is you're not constantly tugging on his leash. So if for any reason the leash is not taut or gets unhooked or whatever, he takes his cues basically by the badminton racket. So I do have one or two cats that I can take for a walk and actually not use a leash. I can just guide him with this tennis racket, and then he knows to stay next to me as well. Typically he'll just follow along, and then if I want him to stay out of something, I just kind of give him a nudge, and he'll continue his walk. Well, I hope that this has been helpful to those of you that are eager to walk your cats.